Welcome back to another episode of Projecting Grandeur. I'm your host, Ron Dichter. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for all of you that have suggested topics. It's really great to see what is on your mind, and thanks for sharing. So appreciate those messages. Today I want to get into enabling and teaching and coddling and really talking about what the difference is. And for those of you that are parents out there, this probably has a whole separate meaning in the world of, kind of your personal family life. But today I want to really talk about it in the context of a business and hiring new teammates and employees, and what the difference between teaching somebody to do something or enabling or coddling them. And this is something that I face in my current business. And for those of you that are in startup mode where you're used to doing all of the jobs, this is probably something that is very much top of mind to you as well. So as you start bringing new people on, the goal obviously is to free up your time on that thing, and now you have somebody who is capable and able to do that thing. However, when you bring people on, there is a level of training that's going to have to go into it, right? You're going to have to train the person to do the job that you want them to do, and then at some point you have to let go. And letting go is it's a challenge, right? Because you have in your mind the way you want something done, and you've trained somebody to do it that way. And at some point, especially if it's something that you know really well, someone will bring to you a issue or problem that they're facing in their role, and you have two choices. Do I train this person to do it, which takes time and inevitably has potentially some trial and error, or is it something that you could just do really quickly and you do it for them and they never really learn how to do it? And we're all faced with this, especially when you're busy and you're running around doing a million different things, and somebody brings to you an issue that you know how to fix in 5 minutes, but it might take 2 hours to train them and then another couple hours of oversight to make sure they do it right. And you just think to yourself that I don't have time to deal with that right now, so I'm just going to do that for them, and then next time I'll teach them how to do it. And we've all done this. And ultimately what ends up happening is you end up doing the job for them. Then the employee just assumes, or the team member just assumes, that when they have this issue, they just send it to you and you take care of it. And now what's ending up happening is you're not teaching, but you're enabling. You're not letting them actually learn and become self-sufficient. You're actually hindering their growth, which is actually making your job harder and prolonging the whole reason why you brought this person on in the first place. And I know that training is frustrating. It is, time consuming. But if you're going to bring on people, you have to have the time to train them, and you have to have the willingness to let them struggle a little bit. Because if you don't let them go through that struggle and you keep fixing things for them, all you're doing is coddling and enabling them, and they're never going to learn because they always think you're going to be there to, kind of help fix things. And it goes back to what I was saying at the very beginning. If you have kids, this is exactly, parenting 101, if you keep doing for your kid, they're never going to learn how to do it on their own, and you have to be okay to let them fail. And letting somebody fail in your business has real potential repercussions. And so you obviously have to look at the severity of what the downside impact could be. If it's something gets delayed, okay, maybe that's not mission critical, but if you might lose a customer, okay, maybe that's something that needs a little bit more of your time and attention before you relinquish it completely to that person. So I really would just encourage you with a few things. So when you are ready to bring people on, or you're hiring for a new role, the first thing you need to do is make sure, do I have the ability, do I have the structure, and you don't have to be well-defined structure, but just at least a guide, if you will, to actually train this person so they can have some level of success. If you decide that you don't have the time, or you decide that you don't have a structure, and you're going to end up just bringing somebody on and they're not really going to know what to do, and it's going to cause frustration, that's probably not the best use of your time. And bringing somebody on at that time, place in your business might not be the right decision at that moment. So you need to make sure you have the bandwidth, need to make sure you have some structure, even if it's just loosely outlined. The next thing is do you have, the ability to let them learn? Meaning, do you understand that it's going to take time and they're going to do things, inevitably incorrect, and they're going to have to learn from it? Do you have the ability to let them do that? And once you've decided you have the time, you have the structure, and you have the ability to let go a little bit and, maybe have some guardrails, but, let them figure it out, well, then it's time now to make sure that you adhere to that. Because when you bring them on, the last thing that they want, and frankly the last thing you want, is to spend all your time micromanaging. And so my advice, make sure you're ready to bring somebody on. Make sure you have a loose structure at least of what they're going to do and how you're going to train them, and make sure that you understand you have to let go and let them succeed. So these are things I deal with in my business today, things that I share with you. I hope you can take one or two pieces of information and make it useful for your own business. And thanks for tuning in. Please remember, like, comment, and most importantly, share. Get the message out there. I do this 5 days a week because I want the world to be a better place. And I think entrepreneurship and people who are pushing the envelope of what's capable are making this world a better place. So anything I can do to help will be all I can ask. So have a good day. Thanks for tuning in.